Primetime is home to some of the most dangerous people on the scene today. You have people that are submission artists, men that will break your arm or choke you unconscious and brag about it afterwards. Others, the strikers, men born to fight toe to toe, man to man, and swing 6-ounce gloves and hope for not only to shatter their opponent's chin, but his dreams also. And tonight, the inmates are running the asylum. Two former Xbox champions will look to settle their differences in the cage once again and hope to gain a world championship opportunity against the current champion, the GOAT of Primetime, BFAP Trixie. Entering first, the champion's campmate, BFAP Dirty Dave. A man born on the mat, a demonic wrestler who sucks you into a vortex of never-ending spirals of pain and uncomfortable submission situations. His overbearing assault is that of a bear born to maul men and hunts to be the king of the jungle. Caliber beat me when I was home for one day to practice. He beat me fair and square. Let's see what he can do when I'm at 100%. He's gotten better, but he still isn't on my level. But for Dave to once again challenge the championship he longs to hold once again, he must defeat one man. Entering another former champion, KM Caliber. Formidable opponent to any man's champions, a glitch in the matrix that leaves the opportunist stunned as he moves effortlessly, making all who stand in front of him with open mouths in shock and awe as he beats them to the punch. Caliber, a man not to be taken lightly, a man who has proved that even the most dangerous hunters can fall before his feet and tremble in their demise. I'm going to go in there, be in my element, and hit this man with my best shit and leave him with a confidence like no other. He made excuses and one day training, blah, blah, blah. What excuse will be next when I KO him stiff? And so, with all that being said, viewers, competitors, and fans of Primetime, stand up and get ready for a wild night of fights that will culminate in a title eliminator in the bantamweight division for the ages. Welcome to Primetime.
Welcome back to Primetime MMA. And Doc and Maddie, Jesus Christ, what a card we have from stacked from top to bottom. I am in the booth tonight. It is STK Reaper alongside Doc, alongside Maddie. And Maddie, let me throw it to you, mate. First of all, look at this card, right? It is stacked. Give me your best fight there.
If you had to, it's really hard to pick out one fight. I think one that kind of jumps off the page for me is Team F Noggin versus EK Tad. Oh, pardon me. EK Tad, obviously known for them on TikTok, you know, his flashy style. He's always looking for them highlight kicks, the tadpole kicks he likes to call it, versus what I would like to say is a more basic, patient style of striking, which you see from Noggin. So it's going to be a case of like patience versus flash and trying to catch him off guard with a cheeky stun every now and again. But Doc, what is there any fights that stand out to you, would you say?
Well, you got your fight there, the classic striker versus grappler. You being the striker, Andre being the grappler, so that's quite going to be interesting. So talking of strikers versus grapplers, you have the main event of Dirty Dave versus KM Caliber, which we've seen countless times before. This time it's going to be a bit different. We're going to be in the bantamweight division, and both of these men have had a couple fights before, and they know each other's styles well, so they're going to be adapting on that part. Looking at the prelims, though, Reaper, you got new names like BFAP, Hoop Dog, Gromflix, Gemini now making his way onto this prelim part, now part of the ICB camp as well, so it's going to be interesting to see how his game develop being part of that camp here as well, Reaper.
It really is. Gemini is such a competitor. He's found himself a home in a new camp, and I hope it works out well for him. The prelim fight that's sticking out the page for me there, Doc, is L Steel and Megatoni. I fought both men, both in prime time, funnily enough, and I'm looking forward to see what L Steel can hopefully build up, apart from last week when he lost to me, Doc.
Hopefully so. So, should we go straight into this one? I feel like that would be the great opportunity to do so, you leading us in. So, let's head over. We're going to be in the welterweight division. By the looks of it, we're going to have a calf versus the Mr. Anthony Pettis. The calf pick is always an interesting one. By the looks of it, it's going to be a jiu-jitsu vanguard. Pettis, on the other hand, he's a kickboxer through and through. Has got brilliant submissions all around, Matty, as you probably experienced. Training with the TMF boys in quite a ferocious fashion. Most of them do have a semi-competent Pettis in most cases, sometimes even more, sometimes even to pull off what like Crypto does with a Showtime kick here.
I mean, just I'm looking at over at Megatoni, and the Jiu-Jitsu Vanguard does not surprise me and whatever. If you know Megatoni, you know he's coming for your neck or he's coming for any joint on your body. He's constantly hunting that submission. He'll take as many shots as it takes on the feet in order to get you down. But Reaper, what do you think L-Steel needs to do in order to prevent that takedown from getting home eventually?
You know, right, with the Vanguard submission pick there from Megatoni, named the Crippler. Crippler for a Vanguard pick, but you know, L Steel isn't in the worst place possible going with the Anthony Pettis pick. You know, Anthony Pettis is very dangerous off his back in real life, and he's very dangerous off his back in this game. So I think if the fight hits the mat, Doc, it's going to be very good for L Steel to lean on that jiu-jitsu aspect. You know, maybe a dangerous triangle from the bottom.
Well, if your opponent is looking for the legs and you start kicking about the place, in this game especially, it seems to leave you open quite a lot. So far, though, we've seen a front kick, double jab off the straight point by Megatoni. Coming back with a kick, does manage to get out of the way by the footwork. Both of these guys not really sticking to one type of idea. A lot of head kicks, a lot of just general kicks. They're just trying to poke and prod. Not really feeling out, more just poking and prodding here, Matty.
I mean, you can see Megatoni looking for that lead body kick early. I think you've got to think that his plan is to take the stamina, like with that tape there that he's using, like that body kick again there. He's going to try and work a little bit of the stamina, so when he gets to the floor, he has a lot more ease finding the submission, Reaper. But it seems right now that L-Steel's doing a really good job on the back foot.
Yeah, you took the words right in my mouth, Matty. Yeah, what you just said there was 100% correct. Megatoni really working the stamina here of Steel, and he's trying to get the stamina down to a healthy position for himself to lock up an easy submission, right? The less stamina your opponent has in the long run, the easier it is going to be for that transition bar to go quicker for you. But as you said there as well, Matty, L Steel is also doing such a fantastic job on the back foot, right? He's keeping him out of range with his jab. I'd like to see more jabs and then maybe a lunge just to get off that cage, Doc.
Yeah, maybe a couple jabs, lunges would work effectively. Just generally, though, not walking backwards, you move to the side will just reduce your chance of having to do it anyway. But that takedown does land, as you mentioned there. Is going for the get up, doesn't get it. Interesting to note that Still has the basic grappling and still manages to get up.
Well, he's up. That lasted long. You can already see the stamina difference for L Steel already here. I mean, it's pretty sizable, and you've got to think that that's off them body kicks, Reaper.
It is, and also Anthony. And Anthony Pettis doesn't also have the best stamina in this game, and that's another thing for L Steel to really conserve that stamina. You have to kind of think, Doc, this is still round one. Let your opponent, and he gets the rock back and the drop. I mean, the up kick saves his life there, Doc.
Yep, it saves his life doing that. Lovely job. Now and it goes followed by the upcut jab straight there. Hook there comes around the side. Both of these guys engaging quite heavily. Does also now get a side kick as well, pushing towards the cage. Jab straight uppercut, lead hook around the side. Both of these guys engaging. I'm pretty sure Pettis is the one winning. You did mention the stamina is definitely looking into the favour of Megatoni. Grappling wise, according to the grapple HUD of L Steel, it's definitely going to be into the favour of Megatoni. However, that's still to be seen here, Reaper.
Yeah, you know, L Steel's doing such a great job of getting back to his feet, but look at his stamina there, Matty. You know, it's practically nearly half gone. It's creeping very low for a fight that we're just coming to the end of round one. He's throwing a lot of big strikes. You know, L Steel, if he can really calm it down here, Matty, if he could just calm it down a tiny bit more, use his jab effectively, circle off that cage, and maybe even just work the body a tiny bit, he'll have a little bit more success. I feel like he's fighting very rushed. He feels like he's being pressured too much, and he's getting a little bit nervous now, Matty. I think he just needs to calm it down.
I would agree with that to a certain extent, but I think he knows that fighting a grappler, he has, and him not obviously having a lot of wits about him on the floor, based off his previous fights, we have to judge that maybe He knows that he's got to get this one done early. You can see the stamina has recovered a little bit, and he gets a nice rock there. He's got two options. He can either go to a smart conservative approach from now, or he can chase his finish.
Well, it seems like Megatoni wants to keep him on the ground and put him there. So far, though, we have another get up attempt here. He's going for another one. Megatoni needs to stay patient. Once you got your opponent down, the first thing you do is you wait. As a grappler, you wait, you stay patient, you look what they're going to do. If they're going to do a very obvious transition, you get the deny, but a pullback there, ill-timed, gets the lead hook, and now looking for this ground and pound here, mate.
I don't know. I thought he was going to try and get the finish with the ground and pound there, but no, I think it's quite clear that he wants a submission out of this. That's why he's been working the stamina down a lot, and you can see that stamina difference now, Reaper. It is huge at this moment.
It really is. It really is, Matty. Like, he's worked so well on the stamina, right? And it goes back to Pettis whiffing a lot of shots as well. If you're whiffing shots and your opponent's only going for the body, as he tries to lock up an armbar here, Doc, he gets it back to half guard. That's very good for Steele, but to be honest with you, lads, it's not looking good for El Steele. I think he just needs to relax a little bit. And if you are fighting a wrestler, you really have to push the wrestler back so you can dictate when the shot's going to come. Right now, El Steele's having such an issue with this, Doc, that he just can't seem to get his game plan going.
Yeah, he's having a bit of an issue. He has got the stun. I assume he's winning this round just from the lack of damage and how much he's putting pressure on. The idea of getting this submission down was looking fairly into the favour of Pettis, but it's going to be close. I think he's going to get the escape, but only just. But as I say that was a close one.
Skin of his teeth.
Yeah, mate. Uh-oh.
I think Megatoni knew at one point in this fight, this point was going to come where he has such a huge advantage in these exchanges, but still gone for a little cheeky leg lock here.
He went for the get up. Did it go for? I don't know how the standard HUD works on this game, to be honest with you. I mean, the fact it's called standard, I think, is an insult overall. It's really a HUD that.
Yeah, but it's the one that you get when you haven't changed it, isn't it?
Yes, but it's highly unadvisable at any data point to run it. It's maybe something you want to have a look at after this fight. Definitely a interesting point to know about. Still, possibly wants to have a look at that properly after switching back to legacy controls, seeing how that plays, and learning that type of grappling instead. Just because it gives you more options and ranges here, Reaper. As Megatoni has showcased throughout this, he's just had more ability to move, and even when he isn't denying per se here.
Yeah, 100%. Like, the legacy grapple HUD gives you the correct movements for.
It doesn't need a legacy HUD for that. Getting knocked down, couple of straight swallow suit and the hook.
That's it.
It's over.
Veteran-like performance from Megatoni, working the stamina down early. Survived some big moments from El Steele, but he gets the job done in the second round. I'd say that was a good performance, Michel Reaper.
It was very, very solid, especially for a calf performance, right? For the amount of time that I did spend on the feet, which was quite a good performance for a Vanguard calf to do. And I just want to give a quick shout out to El Steele. El Steele, can you please change your HUD to legacy? And then I'd also like to, out of respect for El Steele, I'd like to invite him to come over to the STK camp to fight with some grapplers and some elite strikers, Doc, as well. So I'm extending an invitation to El Steele because I really like him. He's a nice dude and I'd like to see him get a few wins. So there's my invitation to El Steele.
Fair enough. The offer's there. If you want it else still, congratulations to Megatoni for showcasing your ability. I personally would maybe suggest working with nice, be a bit patient on the ground overall, but that's just the general opinion and consensus here. Congratulations both sides. Good competitive fight overall. But with that, Matty, we move on to our first Xbox fight of the night. This will be in the heavyweight division. This is going to be Kante versus ICB Gemini. Kante coming over a win over Webbo, where he was kind of losing the fight and then somehow managed to put a comeback with a massive overhand, got the drop and got the KO.
Yeah, interesting to know about this fight as well. This is Gemini's Xbox debut in comp. He's only recently just got the Xbox, I'm pretty sure, or he's only just recently started competing on the Xbox. But Gemini's had a lot of success this season on PlayStation. If I'm not mistaken, he did compete for the title one week. He beat Smudger, who was fighting for the title tomorrow, Reaper. So Kante's got a really big test in front of him. Welcoming over this challenger.
He does. Gemini was really, really good on PlayStation. He beat Smudger, right? And Smudger, for the longest time, Matty, looked unbeatable because he's just so crisp and clean on the feet. We seen him beat STK Storm there a little while ago. But for Gemini to win this fight, it's going to have to be a lot of patience. It's a brand new controller. It's a brand new console, Doc, right? So you will know, Doc, you've been on the Xbox, and Maddie, you too. Both of you guys been on the Xbox. But Doc, let me ask you this first, and I'll throw it to you real quick. With Gemini's inexperience on this console, do you think he stands much of a chance tonight?
It's the same concept. If you're good at something, you can transfer it over. It's the same way with me and the PS. It's the same concept. It's the same idea. What's going to really throw you is just how different the controllers are in a lot of cases. But so far, Gemini looks well adapted to it. He's happy and content. He's Volkov at this range, going on head kicks up high. To be honest, I'm kind of surprised by Kante's pick here. We're Dum's a grappler who doesn't have any takedowns, to be honest, and deciding to strike with him on the feet when you got the likes of Gustafsson, Anthony Johnson at like heavyweight, not even heavyweight, I forgot this is.
Oh, there's the
like yeah, continue.
Yeah, something to note about that I've noticed about Gemini. He's got such an ability to pull big stuns and knockdowns out of nowhere. From sparring him the other day, I've noticed that. From like his win over Smudger. Smudger was dominating that fight, and he just kind of pulled it out of nowhere. He pulled out that win. But right now, he's taking control in this fight. I wouldn't really say Kante's landed a single good shot this entire fight, Reaper.
No, he really hasn't. And something I've noticed Gemini is doing is he's always starting with a hook and he's ending with the straight. He's anticipating Kante's head movement, and it's always a slip. Kante is always slipping back on the third or fourth strike, and Gemini is now anticipating that, Doc, and he's finishing with a straight. It's a very high level performance for a very new contender to the Xbox division. It's a very solid performance right now.
Yeah, it's a lovely performance. Just using that lead hook, it's something that I've taken notice of a lot as well, so you can just do it. So if I'm Kante, switch to southpaw. Switch to southpaw, use the lutic yourself by making his main tool into your lead hand. You've opened up other opportunities as well, because it confuses your opponent. It messes with the timing just because the way your opponent relies on your lead hand having a bit more distance instead of being right next to that lead hook, because that shoulder then blocks that lead hook a bit when you're throwing a strike, and so it just does a bit more defense there. With a minute left on the clock, so far it looks like Gemini has had a fantastic performance so far. Kante fighting an uphill battle. Now lead keeps coming out to the body, but mainly the head work again. That lead hook also coming out him, eh?
So far, this has been absolutely smooth sailing for Gemini. He's been absolutely dominant in this fight so far. You can tell that by the head health stats there. But something that is there to note, I'm always keeping a track of this because it's one of the main things I like to focus on when fighting myself. The stamina is in favour of Kante, so potentially, as this fight goes on, he can make something work. And I don't know what it is. I can feel some magic in the air right now, and I can feel Kante starting to bring this back, as I say, as he eats a fucking front kick to the chin. But anyway, besides my point, Reaper, do you think I'm onto something, or am I just talking ludicrous?
You know what, right, Maddie? I always think you're onto something. I always think you've got a plan A and a plan B, right? Your plans go all the way to Z, winning or losing. But let's look at the facts here from round one there, right? Gemini is looking like a seasoned vet on this console. And I know, Doc, you said, console doesn't really matter. Everything's the same in the game. But you have to think there are got to be some mental elements to that. But the way Gemini is fighting right now, Doc, he's fighting like a skilled vet. Like he's actually always been an Xbox player. And in terms of Kante, he needs to start clinching, throwing some knees, throwing some hooks. Just get your opponent in the clinch, because you're not winning the striking battle here, Doc.
Interesting to say that. I want to say he takes it down, but the lead hook is just counting every attempt. It's just opening it up. Our overhand comes out there as well. Gemini's got complete control of this fight. Leg kick does come out, does no damage, shoots a takedown. Again, we're doing Jiu-Jitsu artist. He has no takedowns, but Volk shoots the takedown himself, wanting to get paid respect to the idea of a takedown, but congratulations, no cigar. That rear hook is also coming out. Overhand after the duck down, slips off to the side there as well. A couple of jab straights. I think another thing that will benefit Kante is just get a bit more shots out there. Jab, lead hook, straight. It's just something to put money down into the bank. Do a bit more damage to the head movement. Tries to duck under a head kick. The game deciding that he can't duck it, and gets clipped in the head there, Matty.
I think the only reason that Kante has been able to survive so far into this fight is the fact that this fight's heavyweighted so much. If this fight was at any lower weight, I don't think Kante would be still standing right now. Or, still standing.
He's just commentary. Curse.
Right, is he going to get the finish here?
No.
Oh, right. So now we're down on the ground. So Verdum could potentially make something work with that bottom game.
If I'm
What's-
currently with
I
Doom,
don't
I'm going to
know.
be aware of the top mount, which is what he wants to do. Now you get into full guard. Now you're looking for a reversal. Now you're looking for something. Instead, die posture up, gets completely out of it. Playing like Amanda Nunes should have done on Saturday against Pena. And now we are back onto the feet here. Ducks to head kick. Late hook gets met. The correct
that's
hook
it.
goes to
Nope.
jump down, doesn't get the jump. Both of these guys still exchanging in the pockets. Whoa! Gee, okay. That happened. Okay.
fucking did it! Holy shit!
Okay. Kante is officially the comeback king, it seems. Gemini had that title took away, as you mentioned, and pronounced to his idea of coming back against Smudger. He says, I'll do you one up, I'll get beaten up for a round and a half, I'll get jumped on, I'll defend myself, and then I will come back, get one knockdown, kill your body to shreds, jump on you, and knock you unconscious.
Comeback.
Jesus.
Can't he come back? I'm blown out the water with that. Like, I was, even as someone who was seeing it, the chances for Canty in that first round, it just seemed like it was completely downhill at that point, and I'd completely wrote off any chance of him coming back into that fight.
Kante,
Sometimes these things happen. Sometimes you throw a lead hook too many times and it just gets slipped. It's one of these things which happen, Reaper.
I am speechless. I'm literally sitting here with my mouth open. I'm just like, how? Like, Doc,
I
how
don't
does that
know.
happen?
Why are you
Like,
asking me? I'm about shocked as you. The only words coming out of my
What the hell?
mouth are the comeback. Kante, the comeback kid. That is your new name. Jesus wept Christ. And
baffled.
so that's
Right,
the
let's
first
move on
Xbox
because
fighter.
there's no one else we could say.
Yeah, that's right. Condolences to Gemini, you having a hell of a fight. Congratulations to Kente for putting something so deep out of your ass. It was unbelievable, and putting a showcase on the primetime guarantee, because that is what you get. And Kante evidently is the personification of that with that comeback. And so, let's move on to the PlayStation side, Reaper, shall we? We've got Perp
yes,
versus
please.
TFA Gromflex Mike? I'm not too sure how you pronounce the name. You're going to be known as Grom, I think. This will be in the middleweight division. By the looks of it, are going to go Cannonier versus Diaz.
okay, so I'm actually a little bit shocked with the Diaz pick, and yeah, Porp is going with Diaz. I thought Porp would definitely maybe hit up a Robbie Lawler pick there, depending on who was banned, but going in with the Jared Cannonier pick here for Grom. Grom's definitely going to have the power. Porp's definitely going to have the ground game. Porp's going to want to get this fight down because you don't want to mess around with someone with, I believe, Maddie, it's 99 power on this game for Jared Cannonier.
It's 99 or 98. I think it's what I think
it's
it might have got
98.
boosted. Yeah, I think it's 98. But
I think it was originally 97.
despite the power, I do think that in a box, in some sort of boxing exchanges, in the close range exchanges, that Nick Diaz does have the advantage because he has the hand speed. He has that. I don't know. The boxing just flows a lot better, it seems, for Nick Diaz, but you need to just be careful of them shots and mainly them leg kicks which are coming from Cannonier, Doc.
Yeah, Cannonier's got utterly deadly leg kicks. His power is just willing to chip away your head. But as you mentioned, Diaz's boxing is one of the slickest about. If you remember B3 Blackout, that man had a fantastic Diaz coming in and getting 4-3 round 1 KOs in a matter of minutes, and it was utterly ridiculous. Overhand comes over the top there by Cannonier, both of them looking for big counter shots. That body kick has done quite a lot of work. Now a couple of things.
My
It
God,
looks
he's
like
ripping that
Diaz
body.
is wanting to be the aggressor. He wants to put Grom on the back foot and make him pay, and that's what he's doing so far here, Reaper.
Oh, Purple Oracle or
Perfect.
Porp Dog is having some sort of performance. He's feeling some type of way tonight, Matty. He's virtually untouched, and he is lighting Jared Cannonier's body up, and he knows if you work the body, that stamina is coming home with it.
I've watched a lot of Purple Urkel fights before. I've watched him throughout months upon months of competing. I've never seen a Purple Urkel that looks like this. He's never looked this good before, and he's placing those body shots so perfectly well.
Have these two
I love
fought
it, Doc.
before? Because there is just no feeling out process here. And Perp's just coming at him. Now we get a takedown. Diaz has got the rubber guard though, so got to be wary of that here, Reaper. He could go for it now. Instead, goes to the posture up, looking with the ground and pounds a bit. Lands one shot, does most of the damage on the block here. A full guard is attempted, gets denied there. Now goes to rubber guard itself. Probably a reversal here, mate.
He looks like it was looking like he was just going to try and hammer the head health a little bit with them elbows, but no, he doesn't want any bit of that. Sometimes that rubber guard is very dissuasive, which it clearly was for Grom, as he just decided to get up there instead of trying to pursue any form of ground and pound. But he's landing some shots now, but as I say that, he gets absolutely lit up in the pocket there, Reaper.
Yeah, you know, these two are having no feeling out process. I'd love to know if these two have fought before, but I'm telling you now, lads, Purple Oracle, right? I've watched him fight many a times, fought him many a times. I have never seen him look so good early on in the fight, Doc. He's just feeling some type of way tonight, and Groom really has to do something. Maybe stay away from those kicks because they're very telegraphed at middleweight, but he needs to start doing something, Doc, because at the minute, he's just kind of a step behind Pork Dog here at the minute.
He's trying to do it, but instead Perp Dog's the one and just meets his chin with a death kick, putting him to sleep there. That was a fantastic performance overall by Perp. That was clean, that was well ridden. The stamina of Cannonier was just going down, and Grom had no really anything to offer him there, mate.
The body shots played that fight. The body shots were the story, and the placement of them body shots really, really fucked Grom in that fight. It was a difference of stamina, and it got to them pocket exchanges to where Perp was just taking over. And honestly, it was a crisp and perfect performance for me, Reaper.
It really was. You know, I think Grom might have thrown about 5 or 6 of those deck kicks, and Purple Oracle said, "Here, I'll use one, and I will KO you stiff, Doc."
Yeah, he really did, and KO'd him stiff. He did. He collapsed in a pile of heat. And now with that fantastic KO on the cards, we move on to our next fight of this evening. This is going to be the 4th fight of the night. 2 fights away from the featured prelim of Lilo versus Def Jam. This is going to be BFAP Hoop Dog versus Matty's very own TMF Nate Dogg at the middleweight division again.
Hoop Dog, I feel a little bit bad for him at times because having that BFAP name in front of him, he's got such high expectations placed upon himself when really he just kind of wants to grow into his own shoes. But on the other side, you got the Ginger Beast from the mean streets of Leeds, the Nate Dogg, standing right there, and he is picking Vitor Belfort, clearly coming in to take his head off Reaper.
Can't believe I just heard that.
Vitor and Kelvin Gastelum at this weight class are two absolute demons, you know, and Matty, you said it best there. When you have that BFAP moniker in front of your name, you're held to a very high standard, right? BFAP got Trixie, Dirty Dave, so you're in well company. But, Matty, don't sell your camp short. TMF, still a very, very solid camp. And, Matty, tell me, pick the round. Is your teammate getting the knockout in which round?
Round 1, let's go. Nah, but this is going to be a really interesting fight to see. I think you're going to see Nate Dogg. I'm trying to resist the temptation to call him by his name because we never called him Nate Dogg. But I think you're going to see him try and chop the legs early on because Kelvin Gastelum doesn't have the greatest leg health stat. Plus the Vitor leg kicks are very, very good. So the Kelvin Gastelum pick, I don't know if Hoop Dog's going to look to try and wrestle or what's going on, Doc.
I mean, instead he starts out with a leg kick of his own, coming back using that level 2 jab in a fantastic manner. Kicks again to the feet, a couple of shots landed on the head. Reaper, both of these guys are going at it with no feeling out time, just jabs, just shots. Vitor's power really doesn't leave you time for feeling out process. If you don't make the adjustments quickly, you're going to end up dead, and that'll be soon here.
Yeah, you know, if you're using Vitor Belfort, you want to get in there into the pocket and you want to strike and you want to have your fight and fight your fight very early on. Vitor is one of those guys that you can stand in the pocket and remain comfortable with. If you get one slip, he's got the power to rock you. With Kelvin Gastelum now, you really want to settle into the fight. He's more of a round 2, round 3 kind of guy. He grows as the fight goes. Right, Matty? So your teammate here is in good company with the power here. If he can... until... the dip straight there, Matty. Tell me now, what does your teammate need to do in order to stay out of the pocket?
Move back by the looks of things. He was just standing there without his block up for some reason. I don't know why, but interesting decision. But up until those 2 knockdowns, it was a fairly 50-50 fight, I was saying, but them 2 knockdowns have caused a little bit of a head-to-health disadvantage, it seems. Nothing too bad. Hoop Dog slightly ahead on the stamina game, but that leg is slowly getting chopped up a little bit, Dog.
Yeah, like slowly and chopped up. Maybe he's throwing a couple of lead hooks, or just using the hooks in the right places. So far, he's just throwing them in the combos. Are you timing correctly when he's kicking in the pocket, when he tries to engage you? Even that straight, as you saw, the ducking straight at Gastelum can be killer when you time correctly. So for Dilks, it's definitely a matter about timing. For Hoop Dog, it's just about the case of finding the openings when you can. Dilks is going to play aggressive somewhat, and you can really exploit that to his own game. That, as you can see, getting a bit too aggressive. Straight head kick also now nearly avoids in there, Reaper, and Gastelum is just putting on his pressure. Maybe he doesn't need round 2, maybe he just needs 1 round.
Yeah, he basically said, Reaper, shut up, I'm about to end this fight in round 1 and counter Maddie's prediction, but this Kelvin Gastelum from Hoop is absolutely phenomenal, and I'm feeling a bit bad for Nate because Kelvin Gastelum was all over up until that. This is such a back and forth fight, Maddie, that it's extraordinary to watch how one man just takes over and then the next 30 seconds another man takes over.
I mean, I wouldn't really say that Nate Dogg's really took over. It's still kind of Hoop Dog controlling the fight, but it's still all hands on the table. The head elves are not too far apart right now, it seems. The leg health is in favour of Nate Dogg, stamina, Hoop. So it's a game where there's cards on the table for both of them to go down different paths, but it's a close fight, as you were saying, right there.
Yeah, it's getting to more the stage where Nate is really starting to feel his Kelvin Gastelum out. He's really starting to pump out that jab, which I like. He's definitely remained more calm, Doc, right? As you can see, Hoop is now pushing forward a lot more because he senses that he has him hurt coming toward the end of round 1. You think you want to maybe kind of back off a little bit, take a break. Got round 2. But Nate right now, Doc, is really finding the range and the rhythm. I think he was just a bit nervous coming into that first round, but now he's kind of rocked Kelvin Gastelum twice, and
he needs uppercuts in his combos. Interesting camera movement. Ducks
He's
down
struggling with sorry to cut you off there, Doc. He's struggling with that duck straight. It's dropped him twice now because he's constantly throwing the hooks. So it's something that I've seen him fall victim to an awful lot before. He needs to throw some uppercuts in there because that duck straight's fucking him every single time, Doc.
Yeah, it really is. I mean, it's just a case of mixing your shots. Jab straight, jab hook, jab uppercut. Just going through those 3 basic combos can really fuck with your opponent's head movement, and that's what you need to be looking at here. And that's what Gastelum's having some success in, is he's slipping off to the side, he's uppercutting, he's using the jab straights as well, Reaper, and that's kind of giving him the ability. Even a jab, leg kick can work wonders just to throw your opponent off, because they're going to be more worried about getting their leg kicked in than blocking their head here.
Yeah, like it's the same combination. It's the same combination every time. It's every time he throws a hook, he's got to come up with the uppercut directly after that. I think if he can get the lead hook and then the rear uppercut, he's going to have some success with it here, Matty.
He was having a lot more success when he was just sticking behind them jabs earlier on in this round. I could see it. Hoop Dog didn't know how to get around them. Like there, he's went with the straight shots and he's just rocked him there and got the leg rock off of it. And I don't know why he's not pursuing them shots after he's got the leg rock, where you can't really do much of anything in order to defend your head. But that leg's going now. Maybe we're seeing a turtle. Fucking hell, can't talk. Maybe we're seeing a turn of the tide, Doc.
Maybe, but so far Gastelum's keeping on his pressure. Another uppercut lands. Belfort's chin is very hard to carry. Some may say it's the crosses laced on his forehead, but the head kick lands, kicking that cross as well as his chin, trying to stay alive here. But Hoop Dog getting the finish.
Fun fight, that. Very fun fight, though. Very back and forth. Knockdowns are obviously in favour of Hoop Dog, but it was a very back and forth fight, not to sell it short. It was a great fight, and in overall, really good counters really did it in for Hoop Dog, I think, Reaper.
Yeah, it was a very, very good fight. Very challenging for both men. Both men were rocked. Both men hit the deck. Both competitors looked to come out sharp. Took Nate a little bit longer to come out, but in the second round, Doc, he had a lot more success, and I believe he gave himself a very, very good showing. So no one should be disappointed with that fight.
Yeah, both sides look good. Both sides know where they need to adapt. For Hoop Dog, it's probably working his way around that jab a bit more, understanding it a bit better. For Nate Dogg, on the other hand, it's going to be just understanding the combos, learning that rotational ability, just to rotate between different combos, to confuse your opponent, to mess around with that head movement overall. And with that, We're going to move back over to the PS side. This time we'll be having Star Rico versus a replacement, apart from the original person booked, since they got stuck up the mighty Tree of Doom. And this time it will be Millions, also known now as Liam Marsh.
I appreciate the late notice step up from the boys. We always do. It's very often that people seem to get stuck up trees around here, as Doc likes to say. But seeing a Jorge Masvidal pick versus Eddie Alvarez, very interesting matchup here, Reba.
It is. It's literally a strikers versus grapplers delight. We're going to get to see who comes out on top here, Doc. And Doc, you said Liam Marsh. Is that NM Liam, Doc? Is it?
Mm-hmm.
No,
That's
it's
a very,
a
very
million.
Million.
It's million.
Oh,
That's
Million.
That's
Excuse me.
one.
Well, I know Million. Million's a very, very strong competitor. He's been in prime time for the longest time, and I'm excited to see what Million can do here in this fight tonight, Doc.
Yeah, I'm excited to see. He has competed before. He took a bit of a break. Now he's back. He's got fantastic striking abilities overall, so it's going to be interesting to see. He's most notably with McGregor, but this time I think we're going to see a Masvidal pick versus Star Ricard, or Reco Star. Not sure if that's his name.
Reco, I think.
Reco? Maybe. With the Eddie Alvarez pick. So Eddie Alvarez got quite a good recovery and that, but yeah, should be fun.
I don't know for that job there. Just trying to look for his openings game, guessing. A few little feints in there. Nice dig down to the body early on from Millions. He's looking like a very clean strike in the early portions here, Reaper.
He really is. You know, Millions, as Doc said, took some time off. Maybe that was just to perfect his craft a little bit more. But he's taking the center of the octagon now here, and he's keeping his opponent behind the black line. As a striker, that's what you want. That's what you want to do. You want to force the shot out of your opponent. If you can force the shot, you can dictate where the fight will take place. And Doc, if he can keep this going for the next 15 minutes, he's going to have a very, very popular win tonight.
He really is, and putting on this pressure on the Alvarez is big time, because that's what you can do. Eddie Alvarez loves that pressure. He's short, he's stubby, and so if you can control that range, get the combos in like such, you're going to have a lot easier time here, mate.
What I'm really like, big rock there. What I'm really liking seeing out of Million right now is he's being a back foot pressure fighter. He's getting him behind that black line, but he's not rushing in. He's taking his time. He's chopping the legs. He's chopping the body with the kicks. He's darting in and then he's straight back out before he can get hit. It's not simply like a bang type of thing, like I'm going to rush in and I'm going to trade with you. He's taking his time and he's picking him apart from the outside here, Reaper.
He is, and he's having such a good performance right now. He's looking so solid, taking the center of that cage, popping out the jab, really frustrating his opponent.
Nice
and as we say that, Doc, now we're in your world, Doc. Tell me what his opponent needs to do here to keep him here.
Well, if you're Eddie Alvarez, you're looking for the top mount, you're looking to keep it steady, keeping on that GA. Now you're looking for a backside transition, get your way off the cage, because that's going to give your opponents an easy get up like so. Instead, though, go for the half guard. Interesting call by the Masvidal, evidently not too used to the grappling ability overall. Now going for the shots on the ground, does manage to get himself out after Eddie Alvarez gets too aggressive, and now we're back on the feet here.
I think he might have not went for that get up because he was expecting a pre-deny out of Star Reco potentially, but I know we've been talking up the town of Million right now in this fight, but Star Reco's doing some decent work getting in and out with them with the Eddie Alvarez box, and he's gotten through the block a few times, and he's working the stamina down a Million, surprisingly, despite Million being the one kind of controlling the fight, Reba.
Yeah, he is. And, you know, with Jorge Masvidal at lightweight, you know, his stamina isn't the best in anyway. So for Reco to keep this going, if he can break the block here of Million, he can shoot the takedown, because Million will not be expecting it. 2 jabs, a straight, and then get your takedown, Doc, right? Because you want to be on the takedown with Eddie Alvarez.
Yeah, you really do. Unlike the previous game, which he didn't have the best wrestling, he's a lot better on the ground this time around. Just his general wrestling is a bit more viable, and that's probably where you want to keep it, especially when you have Masvidal putting this much difficulty on the feet. You had some success on the ground earlier as well, so something to look at. But it looks like both of them have similar stands at the end, but by the looks of it, Masvidal's winning in terms of the scorecards here, mate.
Yeah, I think it was the difference of him making Star Reco fight off of that back foot. I think you're going to see him try and push him back again very early on in this fight and in this round, pardon me. And he's already done that here. He's pushing him back, just, pouring with them jabs, them teeps, just getting him back a little bit. But I think he needs to he needs to move back a little bit more, because when Starrett was coming in with a three-piece combination, them three punches are hitting him, but he rocks the body really nice there.
Okay, down to it again with the body kick, just out of range as he comes forward. Takedown attempt, gets shot there, works the body, uppercut following suit. Fantastic job by Masvidal, having an easy and calm time here. However, Eddie Alvarez is still putting in one hell of a fight. Does land the head kick there, comes back again with a jab straight and a hook over the top. Head kick also follows suit. These two are just going at it, Reaper.
They really are. And Star Recco, you can see him now. Star Recco's decided he does not want to be on that cage anymore after that switch kick rock, right? He wants to take the center. But if he's taking the center, you can almost guarantee, Matty, that Jorge Masvidal is going to plant and he is going to rip. Because, you know, as we all know, standing still strikes are a lot more dangerous than moving strikes, Matty.
Yeah, definitely. But it seems right now that despite Star Rocco being the one coming forward, when he's throwing these three-piece combinations running forward at him, they are landed and they are actually winning the exchanges over the standing still combinations of Masvidal, as a kind of just everything that just happened there went against what I was saying, but mostly it seems to be that. But what I was saying in the first round about the stamina being for Star Rocco, despite being on the back foot, that has completely changed after that early body rock we saw.
Wow, really job. He's just having success all round. It seems like Eddie Alvarez is really having to dig deep. We've seen other people dig deep and come back. Now shooting another takedown. Does gas himself out though, Reaper. And you got to imagine, if you're not careful, you're going to have no gas tank for the end of this round coming into the third.
Yeah, definitely. Now is the time to start preserving your gas tank, right? Get the fight to the ground. Get your little bit of, you know, your rejuvenation going into round 3. You know, you're not going to lose that much stamina on the ground. And in terms of comeback, you know, just earlier on before this, we saw Kante have an amazing comeback. So Greco's definitely up to the task here on the ground here, Matty.
Yeah, definitely. And he's landed some nice ground and pound here. It's just, my only worry is that stamina difference after them 2 body rocks that we've seen in this round. Is it going to debilitate his ability to come back in this third round, which I'm sure we're going to get to, Doc, in order to actually see him come back and win?
I mean, maybe, but to be fair, the Masvidal stamp is very low. Does dig down to the body. Does have a bloody body stun there. Jesus, that he should have done that, but instead he gets it kicked, and that is the end of round 2. These two just going back to back. Same number of single strikes landed each way. One knockdown in the favour of Masvidal. Masvidal must leg up 2 rounds, and so this final round needs to have a knockout or submission if you're Eddie Alvarez here, it seems.
Yeah, or a quick submission would even do. You know, he's got Masvidal on his back. He's got 5 minutes to work. He's potentially down 2 rounds now, Matty. So if he's going to work here on the ground, it has to be submission based, right? The stamina, I believe, won't allow him for a ground and pound finish, Matty.
Yeah, but at the same time, he is Eddie Alvarez. I don't really think he's got really much of an option besides a top mount armbar potentially for a sub. I don't think Eddie Alvarez has got a Kimura, and I don't think Recco's got the ability to hold him in side control long enough to get the Kimura opportunity. But Million has just taken the back now when it seems that he's going to try and ride out this round on top in order to get the decision, Doc.
Maybe so. Trips him down here and is currently holding his back. Is at access to the top mount instead, though. Decides to go to backside. Could go for a get up if he wanted to on either side. Instead, look for the ground and pound position. Doesn't get it. Gets a deny there. And now is looking to punch the face. Instead, though, disengages. He is aware that he does get a free get up from that position, right?
I'm very shocked there that he did get up, and I'll tell you why. I know he's going to possibly. It is it. It is. I am very shocked though that Million got up there for the simple reason being he was ahead in the stamina. I would have thought, for me at least, Matty, that he would have wanted to test the ground game and see what his opponent was about down there to kind of say, I outstruck you, now I'm going to outgrapple you.
Sometimes all you really want is to win, and that's what he got in the end, wasn't it? It was a brutal finish, and he came back from what was a tough first round despite winning it. He came back to completely dominate that second and third, Doc.
Yeah, exactly. And going back onto your point there, Matty, about grappling in just to get the win, it wouldn't have been the case. You're just better a lot of the time. take the win where you know you're going to win. Don't pull what Nunes did during her fight against Pena, where she jumped into the guard of Pena and stayed there for 2 rounds. That is a bad IQ game plan and an insane idea, because although she managed to win the fight...
Yeah, she won. She won the fight.
But she could have got subbed and it was a lot higher if she just kept it on the feet. And kept
She also could have got knocked out in the feed.
Have you not? This is going to end up in a debate about a Nunes versus Pena, so we're just going to stop this before we dive into this. So instead, Reaper, I'll allow you to introduce our Xbox site, because even though you're a PS guy, this will be Lilo versus Def Jam at the welterweight division.
Yes, in the welterweight division, maximum out of 4-star. You've got your Conor McGregors, you've got your Tyrone Woodleys, you have your Jorge Masvidals, and apparently we're going to get to see an Anthony Pettis versus Jorge Masvidal here.
I forgot Woodley existed.
What do you make of this? I know, no one uses him, and he's got some of the best knockout power in the welterweight division.
He's got no car, so he's like a worse version of your at middleweight, because he's got no footwork and he's got no cardio. He hits like a truck, but that's it. Oh, and he's got some good
I think he's okay.
Oh my God, Matty endorsing a 4-star fighter. What have we just witnessed? anyhow.
Matty's doing this to be controversial right now. That's all it is.
Matty, the controversial D, entirely possible. We'll just slate him when he goes onto into his fight against Anjay. Anyhow, moving on from that one, this will be Masvidal versus Anthony Pettis. As we mentioned, Pettis has got the kicks. Masvidal's got the boxing. He's also got some kicks. Pettis has got the grappling. Masvidal kind of has the grappling here, Reaper, but let's see how these two want to use them.
Yeah, Masvidal, you know, since he's dropped to 4 stars, you see him a lot more, obviously, on the prelims, but I'll tell you where you don't really see him, Doc, and that's on ranked. He's kind of been a forgotten fighter now since he got dropped down to 4 stars.
But I suppose that's just because like, all the higher rank guy you also got to remember the welterweight division's absolutely stacked from top to bottom. You have Edwards, you have Woodley, you have Burns, you have Khamzat, you've had Diaz, for God, you have Robbie Lawler, you have GSP. Like, there are so many other picks there that are just viable, and when it comes to ranked, especially where you don't have the limitations of the 4-star fighters, you don't get to see a lot of these interesting fighters. How many times do you see a Pettis on ranked, for instance, here, Matt?
I mean, I think it's a case of both of these fighters. You never really see them on ranked because everything that they do is done better by a Leon Edwards or a Conor McGregor at welterweight, my personal opinion. But bringing it back onto this fight here, this is as 50-50 fight we've seen all night. Nothing big is happening between the two of them, despite both of them throwing at a very high output. That front kick probably the first big moment of the fight so far, but it's both of them just trying to find what combinations work in order to eventually take over in this fight later, it seems.
Yeah, this is probably the most feeling out process that we're going to see on this card tonight. These guys are definitely just throwing their jabs and their straights. Very minimal hooks, very minimal flashy stuff compared to the Anthony Pettis that we're probably going to get to see later on. But, you know, it's one of those fights where it's power over movement. If Masvidal can land on the chin, he's going to have success. If Anthony Pettis can take him out of his element, force him to miss, he's going to have a much better fight here, though.
Ooh.
Yeah, and so far Pettis is just keeping the pressure on. He has got a couple of leg kicks. Lovely body kick there by Masvidal coming over the top as well. But so far a lot of control by Pettis. Although Masvidal coming now with that jab straight lead hook does get him out with the uppercut there, and another hook there also lands. Both of these guys now starting to understand it. Axe kick of all things coming out. A lovely straight piece doesn't land completely. Front kick there also comes out. Both of these guys just throwing an assortment of shots, trying to pepper their opponents in any way possible here, Reaper.
Yeah, they're having like a kind of little bit of a back and forth, right, Matty? I mean, Anthony Pettis is definitely looking like he's taking up right now. He's using some phenomenal head movement and really poking out his jab. And I think that's just to kind of back Masvidal up, just to stay in his face, give him something to worry about. Matty, if you're Masvidal here, what do you need to do to get off this cage and really kind of fight your fight?
I think it's going to be a case of whoever finds the range of their kicks in this fight is going to take over, because they've proved that they're pretty much 50-50 in terms of the boxing. So it's whoever's going to be able to find the kicks, going to be able to find the leg kick, work down because if you take down the leg kick, you take down the power, which means that you can start winning them boxing exchanges, which were previously 50-50. You see what I'm saying? saying here. So I think it's going to be a case of whoever is best finding their timing for some other strikes outside of some boxing combinations is going to take over this fight. So
Yeah, and that's what it's about. It's finding holes to your game, or just general ideas, holes, counters, anything to break up the rhythm of your opponent. Like, if, for instance, if you're striking off time to your opponent, so you do a jab, wait a second for a strike, and then follow it with like a jab straight. Just keep your shots off time, so it makes your opponent's timing off and difficult to read. Then you're going to have a lot more success. As I said, these two are just looking to brawl completely, it seems. Masvidal's throwing kicks in the pocket, maybe not the best idea, but that switch kick does a lot of work, and he's also coming out here, Reaper.
Yeah, he's definitely worked that body held very well of Jorge Masvidal, and it was kind of like almost ninja-like. It was very sneakily. I didn't really kind of even catch on to it until we got that rock there, Matty. So Anthony Pettis is having some sort of a fight where he's being slow and methodical, and he's not trying to get flashy, but he's almost kind of luring Masvidal into a brawl, which you wouldn't think is favouring an Anthony Pettis player, but it's really favouring him right now.
I think what you're doing there, Reaper, is maybe looking a bit too much into the. Oh, nice rock. Sorry. Oh,
Masvidal only just surviving. He's
survives.
flying.
Anyway, what I was saying, Reaper, I think what you were doing there is looking a little bit too much into the fight of Pitbull.
Well,
he's not going to let us talk. He's just going to finish it anyway. Fucking hell, brilliant performance from Def Jam. My God.
No, he did not want to give you a chance to speak. Comes out with a flying knee, gets the knockdown, gets the finish nearly. We get back on the fetus. Question mark kick. Fakes Masvidal into blocking the body, as you can see, straight onto the side of the head. His neck going absolutely wobbly on the ground, and a couple of hooks just to finish it, as you can see in slow motion. Completely gets Doss off his feet there, Reaper.
Yeah, he caught him with the right part of the shin. That's where you want a question mark kick to land, right on the shin, on the hardest bone in your leg. And Matty, Def Jam had some performance there. I know you said I might have read too much into the picks, but he had some performance.
Yeah, what I was saying there is I think you've read a little bit too much into the picks. You can still outbox a Pettis if you're a far better boxer than the person with Masvidal, for instance, and you can outbrawl him. And that's exactly what he did. And he found the knockout with the kicks and the knees. He set that up right, and it was like I was saying, whoever was finding the kicks first was going to win that fight. And as I say that, I'm going to tune out of the commentary booth right now to get ready for my fight, get the boy ready. So I will see you after my fight, gentlemen.
So, as Matty goes to get ready for his fight, we're going to bring you into the beginnings of the main card here, Reaper. It will be SMB Sponty versus TFA Gamer. This will be in the light heavyweight division, be on the Xbox side, and that is the beginning of our main card. Looking ahead though, you have TMF Noggin versus EK Tad, a fun striking matchup. One's a more patient striker, the other is a mysterious man of mystique who will just throw any kicks that he fancies and look to chop your head off. Then you have the Mac D versus Onjay fight, a typical striker versus grappler matchup. Then Leon 27, an interesting new name to enter the PlayStation division here, Reaper, looking to put on a performance against the ever mighty and world-renowned Ned, which then will lead us into our main event of BFAP Dirty Dave versus Cam Caliber in the bantamweight division here.
Yeah, the main card is absolutely stacked, Doc. As you said, you've got your fights, you've got your Dirty Days versus Calibers, you've got the infamous Tad fight, and I can't wait to see what Tad's going to do tonight. I know Tad very well, and he's a very flashy fighter, looks for those spectacular knockouts. But SNB Fonty and TFA D Gamer are going to have a great fight as well, because I'm actually very familiar with these two gentlemen from the Xbox side, Doc.
Yeah, maybe so, but this time around they're on the Xbox console. I know the differences between them. It feels like the grappling's a bit more out of whack, but the striking kind of feels a bit more fluid. I can't really tell you. The controller drives me up the wall as it is, yet I still compete. However, here we go. We've got Magomed versus, was I correct in saying that was Jan Blachowicz?
Is a Ankalaev versus a Jan Blachowicz. Jan Blachowicz, Doc.
Blachowicz. I always think of the Wolfenstein protagonist, which is my slight issue.
We'll let you off with it, Doc. But Doc, in this fight now, this is a serious fight, because you've got the power of Jan Blachowicz, right? And then you've got D4 Gamer using Ankalaev, just coming off a very, very impressive win against Anthony Smith in real life. So I believe if D Gamer's going to win this fight, he's going to want to back up and catch him off guard when he's not expecting it, just like that, Doc.
Yeah, just like that, and he did so, digging down now to the body as well. A fantastic job across the board. Goes again, shoots the takedown, gets it though, turning, then didn't hold it for long enough. Too much stam may have been the issue, and now we're into the full guard. Ankalaev on top, looking to put the ground pound as long as he can, but Fonte is understanding he's got the night. Now we're back up onto the feet here.
Yeah, Fonte done such a great job there, getting back to full guard and then getting back up to the feet. But Ankalaev here is now pushing forward, and you know, D Gamer, he's got this kind of way of moving, Doc, that when I watch him, he's kind of elusive, and he's using the right light heavyweight to do it with. He just kind of prods and pokes at you, and then he shoots for the takedowns. That's a lovely denial, but the stamina is gone for Fonte right now.
Yep, stamina is gone. However, it seems like Ankalaev is calm and composed and is willing to exploit that fact. As I say that though, Fonte's putting on his pressure, working his legs slightly, faking down up top, as you saw then landed straight over the head. And now they're back at it. He's keeping his pressure on, but again, that body kick's doing quite a lot of work here as well by Ankalaev.
It really is, and you know, he's thrown it out since the beginning of the fight. He really wants to make a mark now that he's going to work Jan Blachowicz's his stamina, or rather Fonte's stamina. You know, he's doing the right things, though, Doc. He's backing off, he's letting him miss, and then he's catching him with knees, teeps, the roundhouses to the body. He's fighting a very calm fight right now, and I think Fonte just needs to kind of say, I need to get into boxing range and make this a slugfest for the benefit of myself.
Yeah, and that's what he's doing. He's sticking that jab, using the hooks, putting the pressure on, and especially if you're Ankalaev and you're looking for a takedown, getting pressure just makes life a lot harder overall. However, if you're used to it and you time it correctly, it makes it easier just because of the fact your opponent's walking into your takedowns, and so it just makes life a slight bit easier there.
Yeah, definitely. But, you know, Fonte's getting very clever to them now, because when Ankalaev throwed out those two first takedown, right, his game plan became very obvious. You don't want to strike with a Jan Blachowicz. He's just too powerful. He's a former champion, and he's got stats everywhere on this game. Now, if Fonte can remain calm, push himself into boxing range, I think that D Gamer is going to really start to struggle here with the takedowns.
One would assume so, but I wouldn't say he's actually really shot any takedowns out to really tell. Maybe he's gone back, maybe he's got a bit to invest in his hands. I do it on occasion, even as a well-versed grappler, so I can imagine the same here. 5 seconds left on the clock, and a front kick lands to end it with a lead hook, finishing off. Really even round, really even. 3 shots in it, same maximum strikes. I don't know, to be honest.
Yeah, it's a hard round to call, right? You could maybe give it to D Gamer for the single takedown that he landed, but then again, you have to kind of think with the pressure that Fonte put on him, he had more octagon control, he was a bit more aggressive. That's definitely one for the in-game judges, that it could lead to a victory or a defeat for one of these guys that they won't be happy with how close it's been so far, Doc.
Yeah, round maybe decided by the fact that round 3 is the most important round overall. With that being said, though, we are back into this fight now. Uppercut landing there, digs down to the top, but straight there as well. Couple of jabs, the body hook there, digs over the top as well. Fonte is just peppering shots from top to bottom, head to toe, looking for any holes he can. And again, he's put Ankalaev's back against the cage, and this isn't where you want to be if you're Ankalaev.
Yeah, you definitely don't. You know, it's that power of Jan Blachowicz that forces you back, because you really can't trade with Jan. Regardless, maybe of your DCs and your John Jones and all that kind of stuff, you really can't be trading with Jan Blachowicz. So he's going to have to be a lot more calmer. Do you know what, Doc? I wouldn't even be against a clinch attempt. If he's going to just walk in like this, hit your clinch attempts.
Jab, straight, clinch attempt. That may be an idea there. Spin elbow, though, comes out by Brian Braskowitz. I can't pronounce that name to the life or money of me. Takedown does land, though, and that is all that D Gamer means. Maybe Fonte heard my bad pronunciation, got very confused. But instead, though, he's got over the confusion and now going to this backside position. Does decide to get engaged, going, I want nothing of your takedowns. I can't be asked to grapple. Let's keep it on the feet. Let me punch him in the face. And that is what he's doing here.
he's having so much success on the feet, Doc, that I feel like he doesn't think he needs to grapple. Albeit now, that roundhouse has landed twice in this round, and look at the stamina. The stamina is coming home. You know, for Jan Blachowicz to really kind of take over this fight, he needs a rock and he needs a drop. Because right now, Doc, these rounds are
he's
close.
got a
Look,
rock.
just like that. Just like that. Because
And
these
he's
rounds
got the drop.
there you go. He has now secured the round halfway through. And now Ankalaev is behind the 8 ball. Now Ankalaev, being D-Gamer, has to push, right? He has to go forward. He needs to land shots, land his combinations, and prove that he's not out of this fight, Doc.
Yeah, and he's doing a good job so far. He's come back with some serious pressure there, now back on the back foot. If he wants to meet this, he's having success with the body kicks, but that's really it. The body kicks are landing,
Yeah.
the punches are being hit on that block, and that's what needs to be doing the damage here. Just do blasting it. If I maybe just, I would say dig to the head, but it's quite a lot of the time the kicks are landing, so he isn't really even blocking to the body right now.
Yeah, it's so kind of like Jan Blachowicz is just like, okay, I'm going to attack the head, and that's really it. You guys can see it there. His stamina bar is nearly full for D-Gamer, and his body has not been worked at all. But the only thing I'm kind of catching on to here, Doc, for myself is when Fonty throws a straight, and then directly after that, he throws the roundhouse, I can kind of see if Fonty picks up on it, he can just land a moving straight and knock D-Gamer out. I can kind of almost sense it coming, Doc. I think he's getting wise to it.
This could be the case. Leg kick down below. Ankalaev is trying his down. Just a couple of jabs, followed by the hook. I think it's just the way Blachowicz is leading his shots that's keeping Ankalaev in the game so far. It's just the way he's leading with the shots. Because the way he's leading is very stop-start. Okay, I'm going to go. Then I'm going to wait 5 seconds. I'm then going to go again. And it's not capitalising on it. Because the way you work around someone's block who's just holding their block, who's walking backwards, who's putting themselves in a position like Ankalaev's, is by you put the pressure on and then you do the jab, you do the straight, you do the hook, wait for your stamp to regen, and then you put on more pressure. And by that point, their block should still be quite low, to the point where as you're throwing and when you're taking the break, their block is still trying to reset, and so it's never fully reset.
Yeah, and that's the best thing that Jan Blachowicz can do now, right? That's the best thing Fonty can do right now, being in round 3. Push forward, break the block, your stamina will be alright. It's coming up quite quickly. If he just doesn't get too overzealous, he will be alright. But if he can keep Ankalaev on the cage and break the block,
Ankalaev getting the stun, lead hook straight, also following suit. Slight glitch on their stream there, interesting. Now we go back to engaging in the pocket. Ankalaev suddenly got some balls to trade into the power of Blachowicz, even when his head health is low. No body kick comes out. These body kicks are interesting to see, to be honest.
They are, and he's doing a great job now pushing Fonty back. D-Gamer's kind of realised now, okay, everything is getting so low on Fonty that if I can pull him into my shots, and then I might be able to have my way with him with my lead roundhouses, and he shoots a beautiful takedown there and gets the denial, Doc.
Apologies again, the Niles big time now, looking for the back mount. Interesting, back flat. This is a sudden change of pace. Couple of punches there, keeps it over. Now into half guard, cut straight into top mount. Looks over, gets denied. Fonty acting way too quickly, and an armbar attempt. This could be big time. The bar on the blue, slowly creeping up. By looks at it, he's not going to get it. If I was... Yeah, that was just a case of you don't do that. Now, posture up is in the viable method. Gets denied there. Full stam. Now looking for the posture up. Fonty's got to hope that he manages to survive here, but that head health looking more and more sketchy. He's going to have to try and get out of here. Gets denied there. Now D-Gamer can get another posture up if he wanted to, and he's looking like it's going to be a bad time. He's going to need posture up quick because that stam has regenerated, as you can see. Instead, though, goes for that, thinking it's HUD watching maybe, and now we get into a position where this is going to be a very bad time for SMB Font.
It really is. Fonty has just gone from great in this fight to being very jeopardised to getting the win tonight, Doc. D-Gamer has found his game plan, it would seem, from getting the takedowns to getting his denials. And when they're on the ground, Fonty has gone from bad to worse to absolutely distraught.
But is it a little too late? That is the question. Fonty's being very impatient, though. Sorry to cut you off.
No, you're totally fine. He is being very impatient, Doc, but I think because he's realising how low his head health is and he's scared. And, 30 seconds to rain down some ground pound is a long time to get a finish at light heavyweight.
Oh my God, Jesus. Fonte survived by literally the skin of his teeth. Gets denied there. And one posture up, and this may all be needed. He's just hoping for love or money doing this. Jab straight, spamming, hoping to God, but he stays in the fight. That was such a difficult position, and now we go to the judges. This is a close fight. You had a dead even first, you had a good second, and D-Gamer!
Wow.
29-28, 45-32 significant strikes. Hopefully we get to see the rest of the round stats if we're lucky. No. No.
Doc, I told you, didn't I tell you, that first round?
That was
one of the rounds. That was the round that messed some people up, because that even messed me up. I was like, I don't know who to give that to, because it's based on a 10-9 effect on this game. So someone definitely won the round, but I knew that was going to be the round coming into the closing of the fight if it got that far. That's the round that's going to be debated in that fighter chat right now, Doc.
Well, to quote one of the main commentators on every pay-per-view card, Mr. Humbledink, the third round is the most important, and that showed you why. That first round was so close, so set down. Imagine whoever won that third round, the judges were going to give it to. And although Fonte had a fantastic second, he just couldn't get past D-Gamer's defense. D-Gamer had a fantastic defense, and he showed up for the entirety of that period of time. And then coming into the next 5 minutes, D-Gamer comes out of nowhere and pulls that stunt off, gets into back mount several times, gets into top mount several times, puts on the finish, and nearly finishes him overall here.
It really clicked for D-Gamer in that final round. He just decided to himself, Doc, I might as well go out here and leave everything I have in the cage, because this fight is too close for my liking. He went out, he dominated round 3 on the ground. I can only imagine what he would have done with full stamina if he had been able to keep it on the ground. But you know what? Fair play to both men, Doc, because it was a very, very close fight. And hold your heads up, because performing at this level so high up on the card, you are going to be back, Doc.
You are going to go back. Always, always, always. Now, that was a 3-round war at light heavyweight. We're now going to move over to the Xbox side again in the lightweight division, but this time I'm expecting a round 1 KO here.
Yeah, you've got Matty D, TMF Matty D, facing off against Oni J. LW Oni J?
One fight ahead.
Oh, we're ahead. Excuse me,
One fight ahead. Reaper's getting a bit ahead of himself. Instead, though, we have Mr. TMF Noggin versus the ever mighty EK, Mr. PC Tadpole.
Tad's one of those guys that when you watch him fight, Doc, right, you kind of just leave your jaw open, because he's at the stage now where he's got so many flashy kicks. He's such a flashy fighter. He's such an all-round competitor, Doc, that when you kind of step in there against Tad, he kind of has this mystique about him, right? He has this kind of, oh shit, that is EK Tadpole, like. But coming in here, Noggin could shock the prime world here.
He could indeed. Tadpole going the McGregor pick, an interesting pick overall. Does have a few flashy kicks. Don't think he has a tornado kick like he did in UFC 3, but he does have a lovely cartwheel kick. He has a rolling thunder, I'm pretty sure, and a capoeira kick, which is the only way I know how to say it. Coming off with a side kick, Poirier already looking for that straight here. Now jabbing to the body, trying to get his opponent to react. He's down again. Lovely job by Tadpole. He's just slowly working his opponent, getting a feel out, seeing how Noggin wants to react to all of his shots, even when he's doing a preemptive head movement here.
Yeah, Tad takes the first round to really collect data. Right? That's the one thing about Tad. He's like a computer. If you let Tad out of the first round, he basically knows what you want to throw, when you want to throw it. So for Noggin, he really can't unload too much. He can't expose his best weapons too early in the fight, but he also can't allow Tad to just kind of sit back and relax. So a lot of jabs, a lot of straights, and then maybe your bigger weapons later on in the fight, Doc.
Yeah, that may be the case. Coming in with the jab, straights, overhands there as well. Noggin is kicking that leg of Tadpole every time it does to him, and normally is trying a big counter. Ali also doing a lot of work here, using it more as a jab than he is using his jab. But so far, neither of them playing the ultra aggressive game and really committing to anything major here.
Yeah, and I'm actually very shocked we're seeing a McGregor versus Dustin Poirier. You know, I'm surprised no one got the ban here for those two. But then again, Doc, you know, you take away a Poirier or a McGregor, you're almost dead certain that your opponent's going to go one or the other.
Yeah, and that's sometimes the way it goes, and so you have to work out who you like more. But with that, we end up in a position where these two are just engaging, working their body, working their leg. In both their cases, to be fair, no one really making the massive adjustments just yet. That's probably going to be in between rounds most likely if it goes that long, but so far Tad hunting a pullback but being met with jabs every single time.
Yeah, Noggin's doing such a great job of finding that distance with that jab. He's really thrown it out every time first, just to kind of get the range, and maybe that's just to set up his bigger shots in round 2, Doc, because the way Noggin's fighting right now, being pushed up against the cage, against the McGregor, and especially against a guy like Tadpole who has those tricky combinations in his back pocket, is very dangerous. You know, maybe shoot if you're Noggin. Put Tad on his back and see what that looks like.
Oh, here we are. Another couple with jab strays and uppercut lands at third strike, seemingly getting through each and every time Tad throws it. Lead hook there does trade. Poirier trying to get a comeback here, but again, neither of them opening up that much, but again, this first round, it's coming to the closing round, so I imagine it's going to be when they really start figuring each other out. In terms of the head health and stamina, though, both fairly even. The leg health a bit lower in terms of that, and there's what you want for the counter, blitzing his opponent.
Yeah, Tad just stole round 1 here very late in the round off, with there only being 15 seconds left, so that's definitely going to play on Noggin's mind coming into round 2, you know. And as you guys, Doc, you can see here, Tad was just hanging back. He was like, yeah, come to me. I'm cool. I've won the round, so I'm sweet.
Yeah, and that's what he did there. He did a fantastic job reading the opponent, making it calm, staying patient all round.
I think coming into this second round, Tad's going to be a lot more aggressive. I will say that. He's got the rock. He's got the stun. He was able to really control the distance there in that first round. So I think coming out here now, Tad's going to be a lot more aggressive. He's going to work the body more. He's going to want to essentially take over this fight now from Noggin. But for Noggin, you know, he's going to have to think of a game plan here, Doc, because this striking isn't working. He's going to have to maybe get him to the ground. He has to hold Tad off, because right now Tad's just having too much fun, staying on the outside, popping out the jab, and just kind of having his way right now.
Well, it's the idea of make the adjustments, make the reads, and then stick to that. And then once he's made adjustments to your adjustment, change the adjustment, or go back to the other one, because then he's still got to readjust to it. It's just a case of mixing it up, having a couple of ideas around and how to adjust and adapt to make life difficult. That leg is probably something you want to keep doing, just because he hasn't really countered it that much, and it's just giving you an extra bit of damage. It's working that power, and there. A couple more jabs out, straights out low teeps, gets that distance, and both of them are still just going at it. Lovely duck there, does get a stun, and that's massive in the favour of Tad. Lead hook there also lands. Noggin having a bit of difficulty just getting the head or out of the way of Tad's crazy shenanigans.
Yeah, I feel like, Doc, right now, Tad's essentially taking over this fight, and I was literally about to say it before he threw it, but I wanted to say I felt like Tad was trying to take off a wheel kick, because Tad is moving to Dustin Poirier's right, so he wants to get outside of his power, and I'm kind of seeing Tad looking for a wheel kick KO. If it happens, Doc, it's not going to surprise me.
I was kind of seeing everything up there, and one of the main issues of Noggin fights is he's just staying in the pocket too long. If you're any core striker's main idea is make sure your footwork's away at the same time, because that's one of your biggest defenses and offenses. If your footwork is out of action, if it's too slow, too sloggy, and it's just that type of stuff, then you're going to have a massive difficulty here.
Yeah, and the two of them taunting as Tad misses a very big spinning back kick there. Noggin not able to take over from that mistake, but they're both having a little bit of a back and forth here with the taunting. They're kind of just enjoying themselves, but you know, Noggin's going to have to start pushing forward right now, Doc, because that head health is low, that body health is low, and he's really only got Tad's head health down a little bit. Oh, And the second I say that, Noggin is taking over the fight here, Doc. He's starting to kind of have it all click together. He's starting to push forward. He's starting to have more success in the pocket.
The main difference, wouldn't say it's head health. I actually say it's body health is the main difference here. The stamina just already slightly, but someone like McGregor is doing it on punch loads. I feel like a lot of the time though, it's Noggin's ability to land counters. It's Tad's ability just to stay out of the way of those counters. Like he's opening up holes to get countered in, but it's their ability to get out of the way of those counters before they can happen that's really the big difference. In Tampol's case, he's able to get out of those counters. When he does throw a strike to get counters, it's normally a bit of a distance when Poirier is out of that range. However, for Poirier, when he gets counters, it's normally in Tadpole's range, which has been the biggest issue here.
Yeah, and that's the thing about Conor McGregor. He has the footwork. He has the peekaboo in and out movement, Doc, right? Because very early on in McGregor's career, that's what he was about, movement, distance management. And for Tad, beautiful rock there from Tad with the straight. If Tad can get Noggin to throw first and counter him, he's really going to have a lot of success, especially with Noggin's head health being so low here. And it looks as though there's the wheel, Doc. There's the wheel kick. I'm telling you now, he's setting that up every time. Tad is getting flashy.
He's got to
Tad
be
is getting
though.
flashy. Oh yeah.
Because Noggin's still in this fight, and he's still got the power of Poirier, and that's what he's showcasing here currently. It's just a case of all Noggin needs is one counter, all McGregor needs is one counter. It just depends who lands the better counter first. This fight has been a battle of counters and combos, it seems like, and that is the counter you need.
The pull elbow strikes again, one of the most dominating weapons on this game, Doc. Something you wouldn't expect from McGregor, maybe a pull left hand straight, but the pull left elbow gets it done tonight. Congratulations to Tadpole, condolences to Noggin. You fought a great fight. Both of those guys had an absolute standout performance. It was flashy, it was fun. You made a great name for yourself, and Doc, that's probably the best fight I'm going to see tonight.
Yeah, probably. Overall, that was a fantastic fight, fantastically clean, simple, and he did a fantastic job there. And so, congratulations to Tadpole, condolences to Noggin. Both people on a brilliant fight. It was tit for tat, just trying to find holes in each other's games, but we have to move on to our next fight on the main card. This will be the fight. This is the co-main event. This is going to be not Ned versus Leon. This will be Matty D versus Ned. Not Matty D versus Ned. I'll get it right at one point. Jesus. Matty D versus LW Onjay. There we are. Christ O'Reilly.
There you go.
Okay, this is going to be in the featherweight divisions on the Xbox console like it was previously. This time around, we're going to be seeing a Max Holloway versus a McGregor. Matty D as a 4.5 star. McGregor doesn't have the kicks, the basic kicks, such as the legacy, the current McGregor, whichever McGregor, you know, the 4-star McGregor, but he still has the boxing, and I think he has a bit more similar in terms of overall stats. Holloway, on the other hand, he is a cardio king galore. He will pepper you and look for 1,000 cuts. That is his style. McGregor is a power puncher, on the other hand, here, Reaper.
Yeah, the dynamic in this fight, right, is you're using the legacy Conor McGregor. Apparently, what people would say, the updated version of Conor, when Conor was on his rise and he was getting his first round KOs. Unpopular opinion, Doc, but I actually like the other Conor McGregor, just for the kicks in this weight class. But as you said there, Doc, you know, Matty D's coming out here very, very... He's got to come out aggressive, first of all. He's facing a 5-star Holloway, which I'm surprised wasn't a ban. First of all, because there's so many 4 stars in this division that you could have used to balance out this legacy McGregor. But Matty's got to come forward. Matty's got to push the pace. Matty has got to put it on him early, because if he doesn't, the fight will be taken over by Holloway, I believe, Doc.
Well, to be honest, I'm kind of surprised Onjay went Max Holloway of all people. He's known for his Kimura attempts. He's known for putting on submission games. So instead, he's coming out here and looking to jab his opponent to death. Interestingly though, he's still shooting takedowns, still looking to get a turn takedown. Matty D getting a fantastic night, punishing the body just a bit. Goes upstairs to the uppercut now. The jab straights are coming out, and the leg kicks looking just to work the block as well as the leg when he can. McGregor though getting patient, staying calm, looking for holes in each other's games. And that's kind of been the story of the night. It's looking for holes, looking for opportunities, and really exploiting your opponent's holes and defense.
Yeah, that's the one thing you want to do, Doc, in this fight, right? You really have to expose your opponent's holes in their defense, because right now these two guys, Doc, I've seen them fight many a times. You know, Matty's a solid striker, and Oni Jay is a very solid submission artist, which I'm also shocked he did go to Max Holloway, but maybe he feels with the legacy McGregor, he has to counter that in some way, Doc, right? So he's sacrificing a ground fight for a stand-up fight.
Maybe indeed, but both of them are just firing off the jabs. Uppercut does land there. The chin of Holloway's managing to stay in it. Another takedown attempt. Calf kick there does land. It goes down to the jab straights. Elbow comes out as well. Now digs on top, blocking each shot they can. McGregor's holding his damned, and what he's doing is he's just going, okay, what your idea is I'm going to punch you in the face over and over again. So instead, I'm going to punch you over in the face again, and I'm going to hit you, and I'm going to hit you harder. And I'm going to hope that works out. If that doesn't work out, well, you end up with a very difficult situation, but so far with that stun especially, that's what Matty D's having great success in.
Yeah, Doc, you've hit the nail on the head there. You know very well that if Conor McGregor is moving forward and has you backed up against the cage, you can allow anybody else in that division to strike with you in the pocket, and you know full well that legacy Conor is going to have the advantage over anyone, so it really doesn't matter. Matty is really trying to pull him into a brawl here, it seems. By forcing him back to the cage, he forces Oni Jay to move back, and then it's just one of those fights where Oni Jay is going to have such a difficult reading of Matty, because Matty right now is mixing everything up so well. Strikes to the head, strikes to the body, leg kicks. He's just making it all so difficult for Oni Jay to push forward right now, Doc.
Well, that happened.
Until that's... Oh my God!
Doc,
do you want to comment on that?
Offering no defense, a spinning heel kick, pulling back and draining his stam. I'm not quite sure what happened. I'm going to assume it was a controller issue, as Matty was alluding to earlier on in the fight channel, but that's not on us. That's not on your fighter. That is on you, as we say with the disconnects. If your opponent doesn't, if you don't work in controller, that's on you. Same way with disconnects and the rest of it.
I knew I take full responsibility for that. I knew the risks going into that fight about my controller, and it didn't pay off. Fair play. He got the win. It is what it is.
And do you know what, Matty, right? I'm going to say this, because if you did really play with a half-working controller, you looked phenomenal out there with the block break, and you looked phenomenal with the pressure. You were mixing things up, as I was saying to Doc, so well, right? The head, the body, the legs. You looked to be in such control up until that one moment.
Yeah, it kind of was a case of that. He was doing all right with the 1-2s and the leg kicks and here and there, but you know, it is my fault, of course. I shouldn't have done that with the controller, but fair play to him. He got the win.
We're here now, and we're staying on with this card. Matty D joining back in the boots after his interesting performance against Onjay, having a lot of success. Onjay though coming out, getting spinning wheel kick and getting the finish. And so Reaper, we're going to be on the PlayStation side, this time in the light heavyweight division again. This will be Leon versus Ned. But looking at these picks, we're going to get Blazkowicz or Jan, whatever the bloody hell his surname is at this point. I'm going to keep calling the guy from Wolfenstein versus Mr. Alexander Gustafsson here.
Mr. Jan Blachowicz, Doc. That's a Jan Blachowicz.
Blachowicz. I can't pronounce that.
And you've got big balls, Ned, taking some big balls right here, going for the Alexander Gustafsson pick. A very solid pick, Matty. A great kickboxer, a long-rangey fighter. It's going to be hard for Jan Blachowicz to get into the inside to get his boxing working.
Yeah, that's one of the reasons why Gustafsson's one of my favourite picks of that weight. He's got that long range jab. He's got the teep kicks. He's also got some interesting kicks as well. He's got the spinning elbow. He's got the spin kick to the body. He's a difficult fighter to deal with at all times, and it kind of makes it easy to work the body with from Doc.
Yeah, and that's the main thing you hear about Blachowicz is the body kicks allow him to get damage, but also just his general power does. Gustin, however, has that kick in, not the kick in, has that boxing which is so quick and he's so long that if you just fire the jab straight, your opponent's going to have very difficult. Just the uppercut sticks down there, comes back but doesn't do any power sadly, and now this is a fight and a half.
This has gone from 0 to 100 very quickly with Ned getting that very early on rock. And as you guys can see here, Ned is now starting to pump out that jab a lot more. He's got himself backed up against the cage, which I know with Ned, Matty, right? I fought Ned many a times in prime time. And when he gets backed up against the cage, he automatically throws back. So he's got to be very careful of that now with Jan Blachowicz being in his face. He's got to be careful not to throw back and overextend.
Yeah, Ned's never really been one to care for stamina. He just kind of really likes to throw punches. It seems Leon trying to be a little bit more conservative, but he's having some success here. We can't really see the levels to his success because of the no hood, but he's doing all right. Can I just point out that this Leon kid has had one of the fastest rises in prime time I've ever seen. He's in a co-main event right now, and it was only 2 weeks ago, from what I remember, he was direct messaging me having a problem getting into the league.
Yeah, no, he's had a very fast rise and it's very impressive, although to be fair, saying that he's taking his patient, as soon as you said that he threw a spinning heel kick, I wouldn't exactly deem that patient. These two are just having a brawl and a half, and the fact that Ned is deciding that, oh, I know, I'm going to do a brawl with Jan Blachowicz, the Polish beast himself with stupid amounts of power against someone like Gustafsson, who is just Speedy Gonzalez but has no power. A takedown attempt there, just pushes it against the cage instead, digs down, doesn't get a count there, jab straight over, and Gustafsson finally falls down, goes for the kick, but now gets a reversal. Leon looking like he was trying to get for the finish, but now we're in the backside position here, Matt. You got to imagine that he wants to do a significant amount of damage, hoping to, if not score the rest of this round, score coming into the second. Although,
I'm gonna get to see it.
hey, thank you stream for not butting out. This is their end, not our end. Just apologies on that, including that weird little starter there. Oh, we get hard guard reversal.
The one thing, lads, come here, right? I'm starting to notice something here with Ned. And I was just waiting for you guys to finish talking there, but it's kind of bugging me. Doc, you said it there best, right? Jan is trying to brawl, okay? He's trying to brawl. We get that. Ned is engaging in this brawl. And I don't like that for the simple reason being, when Ned takes his time, and I've seen Ned take his time and whoop an opponent over for 3 rounds.
I feel like that elbow.
He's absolutely... Yeah, he's phenomenal at it. Ned can't get into a brawling war here, Matty, because it's not going to favour him. Ned never fancies well in brawling wars.
I mean, to be honest, I don't know if I agree with that. I think he has favoured him.
I think Ned comes out
favoured
quite
in
well in
brawling walls. It's just in them brawling walls before. He's been fighting someone who was clearly less of a fighter than Leon is right now, and he's also got that disadvantage with the 4-star versus the 4.5-star picked up.
Yeah, and I think it's also the power difference. Like, if he went someone like Jiri, if he went someone like Jiri, it's basically your main compare up this way. Even Ankalaev, for God's sake. It's just, it gives you that bit of a kick, it gives you that bit of a power exchange. Gustin doesn't have that in someone like Blask, the Polish beast, and so you've got to remember just to keep all your P's and Q's in check. And so in the case of what you're saying about him not brawling, about looking counter, that's definitely the case here. But I don't think Ned's a brawling character. I just don't think this is the right time to brawl. Jesus, that was a bit scary.
Yeah, this is going from bad to worse for Ned right now. His head health has got to be diminished by now, and you know, Leon's looking to take over this fight here, Matty, and he's doing such a good job of taking the shots on the block and knowing when to fire back. And Ned right now looks like he's getting a bit out of sorts with himself, and he's just firing for the sake of trying to keep Jan off him.
But we've seen...
I mean...
Sorry, continue.
Yeah, I mean, he's just... Oh! I was about to say he's not really having much success doing it, but maybe I was right. Fucking hell.
Trying to block, he's hoping he's damnedest with a straight. Blachowicz just didn't start. I was about to say this is giving
one
me
of
fucking
the fastest rising stars in primetime history. Leon 27 showed up in what a big way tonight, Reaper.
Yeah, like Leon burst onto the scene, had his fights, found himself in a co-main event on a fight night. As you said, Matty, in virtually 3 weeks. That is unheard of. He has burst onto the scene, made his name known in the PlayStation division, and Doc, he is a possible contender for that championship in the future.
He's definitely a possible contender, taking out someone as notorious as Mighty Ned. He's going to be an interesting fighter to look out for, but that was one hell of a fight. Honestly, I was starting to get Fonty versus D-Gamer. I thought Ned was going to come back like D-Gamer, but instead Leon put an end to that in the second round, unlike Fonty, and that's really ruled that fight. And so, with that mighty fight on, with the rest of the card behind us, let's remind ourselves of the main event of this evening. With Dirty Dave versus KM Caliber. Dave going Mr. TJ Dillashaw, Mr. KM Caliber going Rob Font. So, with all that being said, and with all that being done, these two are two former Xbox champions. Let's get right into this.
Have we seen a change of picks, maybe? Uriah Faber?
I don't know what
that's
the protocol
definitely
is.
not going to happen. Yeah, that's probably not going to happen. If
Yeah.
he does that, he is a brave man.
You see, I would understand that maybe if we're in like ESFL or somewhere where we don't have to like know our fighter picks before it, but Dave knew that he was going Font, so why is he hovering over Uriah Favors? That's what I'm wondering.
For the fun of it, for the concern of us lot. It's always an interesting time with Caliber. He makes no sense. He's the permanent replacement, and the man's an incredible fighter. Anyhow, with that all being said, Dave is looking to take down the ground. Rob Font, on the other hand, is looking to pick his opponent apart every fucking chance he can get. And we're already off to a good start. A body kick and a head kick land, switches stance there. Jab straight, body kick also included. Digs down, lovely job. Jesus wept. Most damage I've seen put on Dave, we're probably within the first 30 seconds here, Reaper. And these two are off to the races.
Yeah, but we shouldn't be that shocked with Caliber right now, right? He's adapted this new style of pressing forward. Caliber normally likes to hang back, pick his opponent apart from the outside. But even the last time he fought Trixie, he got right in Trixie's face. He showed him absolutely no respect. He said, I'm here to fight. And look at Caliber now here, Matty, taking down Dirty Dave.
This fight's been a reversal of my expectations so far because Dave was clearly getting the better of the strike and exchange on the feet, but Caliber's just took him down. Although he hasn't kept him down very long, he took him down.
Well, I don't know what to say here apart from Jesus Christ, the amount of hooks, the amount of leads. Jesus, lovely job there. Dave is having some success there. Uppercut does get met, lead hook there as well. Head kick and a spear by Dave. Ducking under instead of looking for any type of counter, goes for the spear. Now the elbows are coming out. They do a lot. They don't count the significant strikes, interestingly enough, Reaper, but they do a hell of a lot of damage.
Come here, if an elbow is touching you on the side of your chin and busting you up and wrecking your head out, it's a significant strike. But with that being said, right, Doc, and actually, do you know what? Matty, I'm going to throw this over to you real quick. Dirty Dave is on top right now, right? We're in his world, we're in his element. Caliber has got to remain calm. Do you think that Dave will maybe get a little bit overzealous and look to maybe get the submission victory?
You've just said overzealous and Dirty Dave in the same sentence. That's not going to happen. Dave is one of the most patient grapplers out there. He will hold you down for 5 rounds if it's necessary to do. He will finish you if it's necessary to do. Dave knows what he's doing on the ground, and I don't think he's ever going to rush anything here.
If Dave's winning the round, just go with that. If Dave's winning the round, that man will just baby punch you for the rest of the round. Uh-oh, this could be massive. This is a dangerous position for Caliber to be in. He gave up back mount because he knows for a fact the HUD watching is a viable pick. Now, though, he's having some success. Couple of punches there. He's in back flat. He didn't get denied annoyingly, and now we're looking like this may be close. He's having Freddy Pro on the escape bar, but so is the red, and this submission moves quick as soon as he's got a read on it.
No, not anymore. I think he's getting out.
No,
he's getting it. He's getting it. Oh, my God.
Asleep.
I'm sorry, Dave. I'm sorry.
Now, come here to me, right? Now, hold on here now. Before we talk about how impressive Dave looked on the ground, right? Did I not just state there about maybe 45 seconds ago Dave could maybe get a little bit overzealous and go for submission victory there, Matty?
I'm telling you, he's listening. He was definitely listening to the commentary there. He wanted to prove me wrong, and that's why he went for it. But in all
Lads,
seriousness, Dave closes out that trilogy 2-1 with an outstanding first-round submission victory over Caliber. And Caliber's no slouch. We all know how good Caliber is, so that only makes us more impressive, Reaper.
I feel like Dave just ordered like some food or something, and the doorbell just went off, and he was like, "Oh shit, I gotta get my food. Let me quickly tap Caliber, Doc."
Yeah, Dave did a fantastic job there. Caliber looked really good on the feet, done a lot of body damage early on, but then it was just that case. You can see 10, 6, 15, it was barely anything, and then all of a sudden Dave takes it down to the ground after Caliber went down on the ground and gets a back flap somehow, and that is what happens. That was a fantastic job done by the mighty Dirty Dave. Condolences to Kane Caliber. But with that, that is us done for this evening. But tomorrow we do have the mighty G-Man, who won his belt off of Sean Corkery last Friday in a hell of a main event, going up against Smudger, looking to retain his title. He lost it once before against Leon Stoles. He's come back, he's made a return, and that is the fight that he wants. He wants that belt, he wants that title. That is one hell of a fight. As you can see, G-Man will be going Marvin Vittori. Smudger has picked Izzy Adesanya. In the co-main event, you have myself versus Reapsy, with the main card including Liam versus ICB Pug, Sambo War, Ripe, B, perhaps Slick Colt is making his return. Then in the prelims, you got Mr. Jamie Bucks versus Past in that featured prelim slot. That is definitely a fight to look out for. And the Moffat Man making his return here, Matty.
Yeah, absolutely stacked out of fights tomorrow. Speaking of which, if you ever want to get involved in these fight nights or these pay-per-views, Primetime MMA is always welcome to players of all skill level. There'll be a link to the Discord somewhere in the Twitch chat for you to join there. Join yourself in, get yourself signed up, and get yourself fighting. We always welcome new people, don't we, Reaper?
Indeed.
We do indeed. We do indeed, Doc. We're a very welcoming community, and what a great night of fights. Tomorrow night's going to be an absolute blast. PlayStation Championship on the line. Smudger versus G-Man. Wrestler versus Grappler. I can't wait, Doc.
I can't wait for that one. I'm really interested to see who wins. My goes to the title shot. If I be a Reapsy, maybe an interesting one if Smudger's the champion. But with all that being said and done, catch us tomorrow 8:30 BST, 3:30 Eastern tomorrow night for PT 67. But with that all, stick around for the raid at the end and have a good night.